everyone, it's Vato from Vato Cigars. I have the honor and privilege of having Tex Whitson with me here in the Cigar Lounge in Las Vegas. We're inside of Binion's. Hi Tex.
Hi, I'm pleased to be here. I enjoyed this and I'm glad that you made it back in time. I know you're traveling lately and I'm glad to be here.
Thanks so much. Tex has been smoking. I'm going to light up my cigar. This is the Vato of cigar. And Tex has a twister.
And it's a very good cigar. Greg out of your front of your shop there recommended this, and he's 100% correct. This is a great cigar.
Thank you. It's our medium bodied cigar. Tex, the first time we met, I was working in the store and I had a customer, but I saw you were giving some friends and family a little tour, and I got so excited because I just knew you knew this building and you had an understanding. And so as soon as my customer left, I actually ran out of my store like a crazy lady and followed you into the next door store.
I was standing there telling them the story that where your shop is was actually the original desk of the old horseshoe.
Wow.
And I was explaining it to him, and you come dashing out, wait a minute. And that was a great day. I said, wow, here comes this beautiful redhead chasing me. How hot is it?
Thank you. I'm so glad that you weren't too scared and you gave me your card, so thank you. And you've come to our cigar crawls over the years, and we hope to have you again, so we love you so much. So one thing that we have to talk about is you were best friends with Benny Binion.
I was privileged to know Benny Binion, and he was a great mentor to so many people there. He was very generous, and he was the patriarch of downtown. Benny Binion was a natural performer. I used to say, you know, people talk about Elvis in this town. Benny Binion was a big draw. He could give Elvis some competition. Because people, if you met him, you never forgot him. He had these magnificent stories, and most of them were true. But if you were from Texas, you were going to go to Binion's Horseshoe. And one of the outstanding advertisements of those days, there were signs out front on the windows that said Texas Chili, and that was a big deal. And the gambling, of course, if you were a real gambler and interested in a fair shake at gambling, you were going to come to Binion because he offered the best deal.
So you said a fair shake. So if you were to gamble in other establishments, it wouldn't necessarily be on the level?
Oh no, it was always not anything to do with the level. It was that Benny Binion paid bigger odds.
Okay.
And he played single deck blackjack. And what other person in history did 10 times the odds on craps?
Right.
He made you all those great gambles. And so you could come here and bet and do anything that you wanted to. The food was great, the drinks were great, and you just felt good about being here. But the food was a magnificent thing. And in those days, the steakhouse was downstairs here.
Right.
And there would be a long line of people waiting to get in. So you came here and you ate good, you drank good, you got treated right. So that made you want to play here, gamble here.
So how did you guys get into creating the World Series of Poker?
Well, the fellow from Texas named Tom Moore, who brought something actually to Reno, and they were going to have a Texas Invitational Poker Tournament, and a bunch of Texas guys getting together to gamble there. Tom Moore was not going to stay up there. He had contacted Benny Binion about coming up and see the place. Jack Binion, very wise man, very smart man, and Benny drove up there, looked at the deal. They said, we are not going to have this again here because Tom Moore was going back to Texas. So Benny Binion and Jack Binion said, well, let's move it to the Horseshoe. And that first year they had 6 players.
And it was right next to my store, right?
Right next to your store, that little alcove there. They set the table up, and there were 6 players. And that was the start of what became the World Series of Poker.
Did Benny Binion smoke cigars?
As a young guy, he had mentioned that he smoked, but he had quit and was not a cigar smoker. But we had a number of them that were. The one that I remember that really loved his cigars was Puggy Pearson. And Puggy was a winner of several World Series events. I never remember seeing Puggy without a cigar. He always had a cigar.
Did he have a big cigar?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And we all admire Cuban tobacco, of course. Mm-hmm. And Puggy always had the best cigar.
Cuban cigar?
when they were available.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the great stories about cigars that I remember was President Kennedy.
Yes.
And the Cuban Missile Crisis coming up and everything. Mm-hmm. And one of the last things he did before he declared that embargo was to send somebody out to buy all the Cuban tobacco they could get.
Yes, he went and got all the H. Upmans.
Yeah, so the Kennedys were smokers. But Puggy Pearson was probably the most notorious. Cowboy Wofford, Byron Wofford, was a cigar smoker for a period of time there, and Cowboy was one of our famous gamblers.
I love the nicknames back then.
Oh,
Puggy, Cowboy.
Yeah. Butch and Shorty and all that. And we had Bobby Hoff, who was one of the premier gamblers, and Carl McKelvey. They all were cigar smokers. But Puggy is the one I think of the most because he loved those huge cigars and he always had one.
Okay, this one's for Puggy.
Yeah, Puggy Pearson, bless your heart.
Yeah.
We had a lot of good times. And those days, no one thought anything about smoking. Everybody, so many people smoked. Mm. But one thing I'll say is they haven't altered. Cigars still taste good. I don't know about cigarettes, but cigars still
Yes,
taste
they do. You just told me that you used to manage Merle Haggard.
Nobody managed Merle. Merle Haggard did what he wanted to.
Okay.
And, but Merle became very good friends with Benny.
Oh.
And Merle named his son after Benny Binion.
Really?
And so right now he's a wonderful guitar player, a wonderful performer. Mm-hmm. So the Benny Haggard that you see out there was named after Benny Binion.
Wow.
And that was a respectful thing that Merle Haggard did for Benny Binion. But Benny really liked Merle, and Merle, of course, who didn't like Benny Binion, but yeah, they got along very well.
Did Merle play here?
No, they never had entertainment here. Mm. Benny Binion was not fond of paying entertainers. Merle was a really good blackjack player.
Would you tour with him and go to the Grand Ole Opry and?
Not to the Grand Ole Opry, but to places that really mattered to us as far as music. Mm-hmm. And I was fortunate enough to get to do that. And that question about Merle did what he wanted to. He even wrote a song called My Own Kind of Hat. He wore his own kind of hat. He did what he wanted to do.
So I could see why he and Benny would be friends, because they both seemed like they had that kind of spirit.
Alphas, they were.
Yeah.
But the legend of Benny Binion, you know, if you go out to the South Point, for instance, there's a magnificent statue out there of Benny on that horse. People still talk about things he said and he did. And of course, Jack Binion evolved from that. And I don't know of any more successful gambler in the world than Jack Binion. Don't forget Teddy James, his wife. TJ was a unique individual and very well respected.
And is it true Teddy had a very active role in Binion's, and she would come and count the money? And
TJ would certainly watch how the money was flowing, and she would help those girls get settled in their deals. And you got to remember there was coin-operated slot machines in those days, and it was a lot harder work than what they're doing now. It was just a family affair. But there was something magic about showing up to the Horseshoe, and you go to that desk where your business is. You check in there. There was the pigeonholes with all the room keys in it. You sign your deal, walk over, get your picture taken. That was a routine. With the $1 million, bam! That's gonna come a little photo there to take with you for the next visit. But yeah, this was a unique place. One thing you can still do in this place you can get some of the best food on earth right here. I love going upstairs and looking out over the city.
It's beautiful.
I do miss the old bunch of guys that used to collect at the bar. And there was Butch and Radar and Smitty and Stagecoach Bill, all them guys that had these names. And I think about that once in a while, and they say, well, what the hell is his name? Well, I don't know, Shorty, that's all I ever knew. Dude and Pinky, and I mean, who the hell, we don't know who
Your
they are.
Tex.
Your Tex?
That's exactly, that's
What is your
right.
name? Mr. Whitson?
It's Tex.
Okay.
Well, thank you for coming.
Well, thank you, and I want to tell you something. I have enjoyed this immensely, and this is a real cigar.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
See ya.
You can try and get a hug now. So.
Yeah, I was trying to get one.
Baby. I love women. I adore them.